What's good, Slop Talk fam? Welcome to I think Julie said we were like day like 58 or something like that. It's just way into the Big Brother season. We just had our eviction episode, so for those who haven't seen it, we'll get to that. But we are going to start this Slop Talk episode with my wonderful co-host Danny here. I am Chris. Slop Talk, eviction, and Slop Talk, POV, eviction, and HOH right now. Well, actually, we had Tiffany as HOH, and now Claire is the secret HOH who is working with Tiffany. So that's where we're going to start off. I think the last thing we left off was Claire renominated Tiffany's nominees. So it is currently on the block, right at the beginning of our episode. Currently on the block, it is SB, it is Kyland, and Xavier is still on the block from a punishment. And then they go into POV episode. And I don't know how to feel about this POV.
So Alyssa, Claire, and Hannah get chosen to play in it. And
so it's bound to happen, but they did the little interview room, and Xavier's like, I need Alyssa to play because I know that's the one person that's gonna call him off the block. He digs his hand inside, comes out, and of course, I know there's a limited amount of people, so it's gonna happen more often than not. But of course, what comes out in his favor? Alyssa. So I'm just like, I know they can't rig it because it's just a box with tokens in it, but still, I was like, little convenient.
You don't know how you feel about the episode, not specifically the challenge.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the episode. Okay. I got lots of questions on how you might feel about how this game's being played, but how the game is being played by the current house guests moving forward. Oh, and I have to ask you how you feel about the jury house. But okay, so Alyssa, who is it? Alyssa, Azah, and
Alyssa, Claire, and Hannah.
Oh, Alyssa, Claire, and Hannah Chada. By the way, looked it up. That is her last name.
It
Hannah
is. Yes.
Chada. Yeah.
I looked it up too.
It was bothering me. It was bothering me. I was like, what do I was like, I know I don't watch a lot of the live feeds. So I was like, where is the Chada coming from? And so I had to look it up. And it was like right on Big Brother's website. It's like Hannah Chada. I'm like, oh, okay, it's her last name.
Like, okay.
Yeah. So they go into this one, and it's another famous Big Brother one. It's another famous Big Brother one where it's all attention to detail. You got to put these things in order, and the fastest one to get in order wins. They did make it seem like Sarah Beth was just blazing along.
Well, she had her own pity party going on.
She did have her own pity party.
Which was like, well, I don't know why I got picked. What did I do wrong? Why does everyone hate me?
So that's what I want to get to. She's like, everyone hates me. America hates me. They don't give us BB bucks. And we got taken off, and someone had a chance to take a shot secretly, and they still just put me and you. She was talking to Kyland.
Yeah.
And she's just crying. I'm like, Sarah Beth, you brought this on to yourself. Like, I mean... And yeah, and to go back like to the beginning, when there were still the kings and queens, does everyone remember when she was just like naming off cookout members when Xavier was like, who do you think we should go for? And she was just like, cookout member.
After Hannah. She was after Hannah. I think that's kind of where everything started. We got to get her out. How do you guys not see that she needs to get out? I mean, I don't know what else to say. She needs to go, but I mean, it's not my HOH, so whatever. But she needs to go, and you're just like, okay, calm down.
Yeah. And so they play the game out. Everyone goes. It looks, you can't tell by editing, but in my head, it all looks really close. Which you've come to find out that the times are actually really close. Except for one, and I don't know if he threw it, but Xavier's time was way off from everybody else's. It was like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. And then Xavier's time was like 8.5 minutes or something like that. I'm like, come on, Xavier. Like, We all know you're not dumb.
I mean, maybe he's not dumb, but maybe it's just not a good challenge for him. Maybe he's more like strength, endurance, kind of sports, kind of like this would have been my game to play. Like this is like attention to detail, put it in order. Maybe he just wasn't, I don't know. Maybe he realized he wasn't going to go home and was just like, whatever. I'm just going to toss or throw a challenge because it doesn't matter. I don't want to seem like I'm too good at something. I don't know. Claire mentioned how she preferred for X to go home, but she didn't really want to mess with, she still kind of considered it as Tiffany's HOH, and she just didn't want to really get her hands bloody on that one. Which I do think, I mean, if you're thinking about just overall, I think Xavier is a bigger target. I like Xavier. But if you're, really talking about like who is the biggest target, it's probably Xavier. But anyway, she didn't want to get her hands dirty on that one. And back to the challenge. So it was BB High School or whatever it was called, is Dear Evan Hansen. By the way, if you haven't seen Dear Evan Hansen, it's a fantastic show. We saw the musical a couple of years ago. It's actually really good. Anyways, they have to put the photos in order. And you're right. Like you're watching the show and it looks like, oh, everybody seems to pick up. Oh yeah, they've noticed the apple. And then when you get to the times, you're like, why is it so off? But Hannah ends up winning by like, I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. It was
20, 30 seconds.
It was pretty close to SB. And she just, I don't know. She just like can't believe it. This was, she can't believe that she lost. And then Claire's narrating the whole thing again. She is always narrating the challenge. Always. I mean, she's calmed down a little bit, but I realized I was like, I'm sure they have everyone narrating, they're telling their version, but she's just so charismatic about everything. And she goes into detail and, like facial expressions. And whatever.
The drawn out speech gets me when she does the, and I can't believe how far. It's like, I'm like,
everything.
Okay.
There's like this cadence to her, how she explains everything. But yeah, SB, I think at that moment she realizes, okay, yeah, I'm probably going to go home. Hannah ends up picking the losers, or not the losers, but everyone that's on the block,
to
watch the show, which was actually really nice of her.
So the winner of the POV didn't just win POV and get to choose a POV.
Right.
The winner also got to win a special screening in the HOH room of Dear Evan Hansen, which is the movie based on the play, starring the guy who starred in the main role on Broadway. And so that was kind of the intro to the POV. That's the whole reason why it was themed like BB High School. And then yes, Hannah won. And then what nice thing, she picked Xavier, Kyland, and SB, who were on the block to watch the movie with her. My gripe was when I saw it, I was like, where are they going to watch this? I thought they were going to watch it like in the backyard or something like that. Like they would have a big screen for them to watch. And then they go up in the HOH room and they have a TV smaller than the one I have here in my office. I was like, that's not fun to watch on. Come on, Big Brother. Another missed opportunity. They spent all that money on that stupid box to flip that coin. They should have saved some money and put it on a big screen for them as a special prize. But
there has to be one on the CBS set somewhere that they could have just rolled in
with a projector, right? And just showed it. Yeah. I'm just like, come on, Big Brother. Like, I mean, come on. But yeah, so she picked the people on the block to watch it, and
which was safe. I mean, it's
you're not picking favorites, although Big D did have a problem with it because of course he wanted to watch it. So but no, it is a safe bet to go with the people on the block. Like it's like picking all the have-nots, right? It's like the people that might get eliminated. Those are who you take with you. So so she takes, it's them four, and they go up there to the HOH room, watch it beyond the screening. So now it's POV time. Hannah. Okay, wait, before they pick before she picks someone or doesn't pick someone to veto, she has talks with people throughout the house.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is she's going to take Xavier off the block and leave the planned block members up there, which would be Kyland, who's part of the cookout, next to his ally, who they're supposedly going to vote out, and that would be SB.
Yeah.
So that goes around. Everyone's kind of okay with it, except Kyland. So Kyland makes a last-ditch effort, say, hey, I want to come off the block just to give SB a pity vote. Now, I want to get your take. Do you think it was just for the pity vote? Or do you think Kyland really was going to try to save her versus X, who he has a cookout with?
That excuse was just, I was like, is that the best excuse? The best reason that you're really pushing to try to get SB off? Tiffany is not okay with it. As everyone is aware, you all have, the person part of the cookout, and then you have your shield. The agreement was, we're going to put up your shield, and you're going to go up with them. That was the understanding everybody had. So Tiffany's annoyed, and Hannah's annoyed that he's trying to get everyone to, get him off so they could put somewhere else, which totally messes the ultimate, everybody's plan of keeping the cookout still alive. So when he has the reason of, I just want to be able to give her the pity vote, who cares? She's going to understand, SB is going to understand. I think he just felt so bad because you saw we'll get to it later, but Julie's conversation with her and Kyland were pretty tight. And Kyland, when he was really bummed that he was up with Sarah Beth, but the excuse he says is, I just want to be able to give her a pity vote. And that is the dumb, Kyland, you are making yourself look selfish. You're making the other members of your alliance bring you down to the bottom of the totem pole of the alliance, because it's almost saying that you're not loyal. He's loyal to them, but he wants to keep SB. He wants his shield there ultimately.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
So I don't think it was good of Kyland. I don't think America likes him very well. And I have a feeling that the jury is going to start to figure it out. So,
but we'll get to the jury and Kyland and how America feels. So then obviously the cookouts, well, let's just say the top of the cookout is not going for it, right? And so Hannah, or aka Chada, goes up and she gives her little speech, takes Xavier off the block like it's always been planned. He was up there because of a punishment. Kyland stays up there with his shield, who is SB, and SB gets a new nickname. Well, yeah, SB gets a new nickname, and thanks to Chada, and her new nickname is SB, aka Sketchby, and I thought that was 100% brilliant. I was like, Sketchby, that was really good. I was like, oh, that was good. So Kyland and Sketchby are up on the block, and that's final. That's done. POV's over. They're stuck up there. And so it goes into just kind of the events leading up to it, because I mean, there's not much else they can do, right? I mean, they're not going. They didn't do much campaigning against each other. I know Sarah Beth made some last ditch efforts to say she's there to play with people. She's there to play a good game. But you really don't see much campaigning against each other. They didn't. Obviously, they're really close. They didn't want to talk bad about each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, go ahead.
If anything, it's kind of quiet when it comes to as far as Kyland and SB doing the work, but it does show the conversation with Alyssa, Claire, and Xavier. And Alyssa kind of just is inflicting volunteering information, not on purpose, but she says, Claire, you're the last white person
she says if SB goes home, Claire, you'll be the last white person here.
And Xavier's like, oh yeah, huh? Like trying to play it off, and Xavier's like, Alyssa, shut up. And then she even says like, yeah, there's actually not going to be any like white males in the jury this season. Isn't that kind of crazy? And Xavier's like, okay, like, are we just going to keep going about this? And then Claire's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be the only white person if I stay. And they keep talking about it. And then
Xavier's face gave it away a little bit because I was watching that, and then also again production, editing, but the way like when things were being said, there was a couple shots of his face where he, you know, if they were paying attention, which I don't think they were, I think they were just having conversation and most probably not looking at each other most of the time, but like his face alone, I was like, oh man, if they would have looked just at that moment, you know, they I would have caught on to something, I think, if I would have saw his face with some of those shots. So
yeah, and a lot of people, and it's just funny because Alyssa keeps going with it, and you know, Xavier's like, let me just like, and he doesn't want to change the conversation, but it's like, you know, if you're in Claire's position, you're kind of just not going to make a big deal. You're just gonna be like, oh yeah, but you don't want to be that a white person that says like, why is there only people of color left? And you know, you don't you can't, there's a line.
Yeah, there's a line.
She's probably like, especially in today's day and age, she's like, I don't want to be like, oh, why is there people of color left? And then she doesn't want to offend anyone, and someone says, why is person of color can't be part, you know what I mean? So I mean, who knows what else is mentioned, and that CBS just can't really air just for, you know, accountability and stuff like that. They got to kind of keep it even keel. But I just thought that was so funny, and I'm sure people have figured it out, like, or at least noticed it.
Well, okay, and so you know, there's talk back and forth, and other than the Beetle thing, I don't know what else to go on the Beetle fire. I don't know what else to talk about on the eviction episode.
Well, Hannah got concussed, and the house almost blew up because of you know, family dinner, but which I thought was like, who I don't know. I don't really know whose fault it was. Xavier, maybe because he left, but then I don't know.
Well, from what I saw, Xavier wasn't cooking. So I don't know whose fault the fire was. Okay. Yeah. So if you guys hadn't seen, like, there's this whole Beetle thing where Big D and Hannah are sitting on or laying on the hammock. There's a beetle. Big D gets off to get away from the beetle as fast as possible, which throws Hannah like in the air. And then, I mean,
how big is Big D? Like, how many pounds is he? He's a
good, I don't know, what, 300 pounds?
320 maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know how tall he is, but yeah, he's a little bit over 300 pounds, I would guess, or solid 3. And he flies off. He flies off the hammock. And then
quickly, like just so quick, like it's like if you took a slingshot and you pulled it back and then let go.
And and then Hannah catapults out of it because the weight distribution is just very off now, and she rolls over and she hits her head on like the frame of the
hammock stand,
of the hammock. And it was a good 10 minutes of like, all right, is she good? Is she not good? Like, does she need to get out of the game? Like, is she bleeding? Like, what's going on? And here's Tiff like filtering through her hair, looking for
like a bump.
Like, I'm like, is she searching for lice? Like, I don't know what's happening right here. Is it that big of a deal? I don't know. But yeah, they spent a lot of time talking about that. I learned, maybe they said it earlier in the season, but Tiff and Kyland have a final 2.
I think that was a live feed thing. I don't think that was a episode thing.
Like, it was mentioned a long time ago.
I think that was, I think it was mentioned a long time ago, but only in the live feeds. Like, so
okay.
If you're paying attention to the live feeds, I think that's
okay. So Tiff and Kyland are talking about like, you know, they're like, I don't agree with what you're doing. I don't agree with what you're doing. You know, but they have to come to some kind of common ground because they, you know, they've decided that X is their biggest threat. But they need each other for the final 2. And then we go into the jury house.
Well, so this is my question for you before we get to the jury house.
Okay.
How do you think about Kyland's game where he's playing Big D, Xavier, and Tiffany to get to the final two? You think that's going to backfire on him?
Big D,
So when he gets down to the 6, you have Azah, Chada, and Tiffany. And then on the female side, and on the male side, you have Kyland, Xavier, and Big D. And so Big D, Xavier, and Kyland go into the have-nots room, and he makes kind of a final 3 pact with all the guys. They're like, once we get down to the 6, like we could win this because we would win like all the HOHs and blah blah blah. Right?
I don't know. If I'm Big D, Big D has a good social game, right? That's what I'm assuming. But he has nothing else. And Big D has to know, I can't win a comp. I can't win a power veto. I can't. So he has to know, if he's smart, which I think he is smart. He has to know Xavier and Kyland only want to bring me because they know that they could beat me. But if you're Big D, you say, F it, I'll roll with you because that's how I'm going to get there.
The only other person in my eyes, if I'm jury, the only person Big D could be in a final 2 is Azah.
Yeah.
That's the only way I see it.
In a perfect world, if I'm in the final 3, Azah and Big D are with me.
Yeah.
If I'm
anybody else in the cookout.
That's who I would bring with me.
Yeah.
Because they don't really have a resume. They didn't really do anything. I mean, Azah cried the whole season.
Fought against the cookout. Every decision the cookout made in the beginning, she was against almost everything they ever did. So.
She didn't come up with any idea. I mean, Big D has a one up on her because he was a nominee. He was put on the block a couple times. So he has that thing. Well, I was put on the block and I saved myself. Well, whatever. And
he could just straight out say, I kept Azah in check. Like the whole time, like she was about to flip out. I was the person to bring her down just so I could make it to the final 2 with her. And so I didn't ruin my game. So that's another thing they got. So, but then, so Kyland makes the final 3 with the other 2 guys, and then he immediately goes to Tiffany and talks about their final 2. So, I don't know. I think when it gets down to the final 6, I think there's going to be more intermingling, a lot more talk about game, a lot more truths coming out. So I think that might actually kick Kyland in the butt.
Kyland used to be I still like Kyland, but he used to be so chill and like this cool guy. And then now you're kind of like, is he kind of sketch? Like,
I think the pressure's getting to him. Yeah. I think he still has that. I mean, I think his normal personality is that chill, lovable kind of very social person. But I think the pressure's getting to him. It's getting down to he's losing his shield. He knows that once it gets down to the 6, the game really starts for the cookout, because then they got to start eliminating each other. So I think it's just the pressure of the final, the game coming to an end.
Yeah.
So let's go to the your favorites. Let's go to the jury house. That's all right.
I love when they show the jury house. They don't do it as much as like previous seasons where it's like, I don't know. They used to show so much more, but I mean, I guess for what reason? Like you don't really learn much except for you just see them play back of, how everybody got caught up and everything.
Yeah.
What's her name's there?
Britini.
Going
crazy. Just
punching statues. Yeah, going crazy. And Derek X scares her, and she's just like, what are you doing? Like, she's like in total shock. Like, how did you get you? Like, what? That was the last person that she thought was going to be there. But he goes in and he kind of recognizes where he messed up and kind of, tells her like, I could have played the Queen of Dynasty, but I didn't because I got caught up. He felt too comfortable, which is like, don't ever feel comfortable in the Big Brother house. And he recognized his mistakes. And it's so unfortunate because I do like Derek X. And I kind of, came to realization that they're not bringing a house guest back in the house at that point.
So you were just holding on to that hope that they were going to bring him so he could get back in.
Kind of. And then Brittany's just kind of, and then she's just talking about everything, right? And she's just they're kind of having like this revelation together of like who's with who and Derek,
what's going on in the house.
And Derek mentions, what did he say? He realized when they did the goodbye messages, who told him that they were in a
Kyland.
Kyland said
Kyland's been spilling the beans.
Yeah. So, and then he realizes, oh shoot, like there is something going on. And they kind of guess the Cookouts Alliance.
Yeah.
They're unsure of, who are they unsure of?
They got the 4. So it's
Xavier,
Kyland, Tiffany, and he doesn't guess Hannah because that was his partner.
Yeah.
So I think it was Xavier, Kyland, Tiffany, and I think they said Azal.
Yeah, I think it was Derek F that they were like, ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was Azal and Derek F that they were flipping in and out.
Yeah. So, but they're kind of onto it now, and and then I'm sure once they share more stories, they'll figure it out. But that's basically it.
Yeah, and so eviction comes up. There is a sympathy vote. Tiffany.
What is up with these sympathy votes? What does it matter? If I'm going home and it doesn't really matter.
Well, so this is my thing, because so Tiffany throws out a sympathy vote, and you guessed it, Slop Talk family. Sketch B goes home and she gets 5-1 votes, right? And first person SB hugs is Tiffany, and Tiffany tells her that 1 vote was from me.
Yeah.
Which at that point, all she's doing is vying for a jury vote.
It's jury management at this point.
Yeah.
But
because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you, so in my head as let's say I'm Sarah Beth, in my head as a jury member, if it wasn't anything other than you trying to get me to vote for you, if you're the final 2 because I'm in jury, there would have been more votes. There would have been at least like 2 to 4.
Well, and then not just that, you're the one that put me on the block.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know if that would piss me off more or.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they have some kind of like friendship. Everybody likes each other in the house for the most part. So, I mean, who knows? But I think at that moment, I don't want to hear someone be like, oh, by the way, I was listening. Because to me, that's just so obvious that you're trying to get my vote. And that's almost like it would piss me off even more.
Yeah, that would make me not want to vote for you.
Yeah. I mean, maybe once they realize what the alliance was and how it worked, SB might be like, oh, she had to get rid of me because it wasn't part of, oh, okay, I could, whatever.
So if Tiffany makes it to the final 2, she has the resume to say, I came up with the whole plan of the shield. The alliance member and their shield go up on the block. That way we have the numbers, we would vote on the shield. And then next week, the next shield and alliance member go up. She has that. She doesn't need to say, hey, Sarah Beth, like, hey, I was your sympathy vote. And that's my only thing is like, it might have meant something for somebody else to get the sympathy vote because like someone like Chada, who's kind of just been here or there, occasionally winning something like a challenge or a POV, like, or like this POV. It might have meant something for her to say, oh, I gave you a sympathy vote because that's just something else. That's like, if you only have 3 things to put on your resume, that would be, the 3rd thing to put.
Yeah. But the sympathy, even in previous seasons, like once in a while, someone would get a sympathy vote. And there's been times where you think you're giving someone a sympathy vote and then you actually flip the house.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
That's when it actually really matters. But in this case, the sympathy vote is you're just blowing smoke up someone's butt at this point. So anyways, SB goes home. She kind of knows that she was like the person going home.
Yeah.
And she talks with Julie about everything. And she makes it seem I don't know. I don't know. She makes it seem like she was kind of like innocent and everything. And I'm just like,
she makes it seem like she was innocent and the best player in the house.
Yeah. And like, oh, I understand why they had to get me out. And whatever.
Like I was the biggest threat to all of their games. Yeah. And I'm like, not really, but.
Yeah. And then Kyland tells SB that he was in alliance in the goodbye messages. And she kind of did look stunned. I would say that she looked stunned about everything. But yeah, whatever. See ya.
so Sketch B went home, and then we do it again. We do the ending of Thursday's episode while they're playing the HOH. Obviously, for those who have the live feeds, you already know who won the HOH. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit my mic, but yeah, so you know who won. But yeah, so they end the episode. It's the one where you have to hang on and you spin around, and there's always something that you slam into.
Yeah.
And
Claire eventually has to fall on her own. She has to throw it.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I've ever seen that in a Big Brother episode where like someone had a like
because they were secret. Yeah.
I don't remember. But we do see Derek falls first, which I was like, Claire, don't be the first one to fall. Don't make it obvious.
Yeah.
Especially don't go before Derek F. I was like, this is not Derek. A lot of the challenges aren't tailored for Derek F. And so I was like, she better not fall first. That's just going to be so obvious.
Yeah. But I mean, Derek F, as soon as it came off of the padding, he was already like, ugh. I was like, oh man, come on. I was like, hold on, Derek, come on, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, she definitely couldn't fall immediately. And then so Derek F is the first one to go out, and then the next one is Alyssa, who as soon as she falls out, she goes over in the corner and is just blowing chunks. I mean, she's just like hurling. So I want to say it was the spinning or something that got her. It wasn't really like the endurance, but all the way up until the credits were over, she was in the corner. Derek F went to go see how she was doing. I mean, she was just bad. It was just bad for her because, like I said, I think it was the spinning and motion sickness or something. But so Claire's still on when we go. By the way, the first 3 to fall out on this are have-nots for the week. So that's Derek F, Alyssa, and whoever falls out next. So I think Claire would want to hold out at least past the first 3, just because she doesn't get to win HOH, and she would have to be a have-not if she fell.
I'm just curious. I mean, I don't know how far she gets into the challenge, but I'm just curious if like producers are like shaking in their boots, like she better not leave it to like the last moment, like, you know, or if they say, hey, you need to be the 4th person, you need to be the 5th person, or, you know, just because, can you just imagine if Claire's alliance with like Tiffany or something, like if it's just her and Tiffany left and Tiffany's like, oh, you got this, girl.
Yeah, it just falls off. Oh, the producers would be so mad. I don't know what to do at that point. I mean, they can't penalize her because then it would make the whole house known that she was the secret HOH, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it would just be her bad. Like the producers should be like, okay, we're just gonna call you out because you messed up.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, Claire was the secret person, which I feel like everybody kind of knows. Everybody felt like it was either Claire or Tiffany as the person, as the secret HOH person.
Yeah. I know everyone left in the house, I think, knows. I think Sarah Beth was probably the only one who really didn't know who it was. And so yeah, I'm hoping she just falls at 4. Or hold on and then just let us see how this plays out with the producers. Like
producers
yeah.
They're like, cut her rope.
The thing falls out. They're like, Claire, you have to get on this one. Yeah. So it ends with them still hanging up there, and we're moving on to next week's episode. So we'll see who the HOH is. We don't know. Who do you think wins this one?
I don't know. Hannah?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna say Xavier, because he has Alyssa and that's his shield, and I want to say that he wants to hold his shield into the last shield.
Yeah, because only shields left are Alyssa and then
Claire.
only white person left in the house.
and he knows if he doesn't win, Tiffany is gonna vouch for Alyssa to go home. So I think Xavier holds on and tries to win this one just so he can keep Alyssa around for this week. And plus, he's been on the block like 2 weeks in a row now. I mean, if he doesn't win this one, he might end up on the block again. I mean, at this point, he's got to keep himself off the block just to not be on the block again. So,
all right, well, we'll see.
Yeah, so we'll see who wins on Sunday, and then we'll be back to review the newest episode and talk about who the HOH is and maybe who even their nominees are. So, as always, Slop Talk fan, appreciate you coming out watching. Appreciate you viewing one of these episodes. Go and give us a like below. Just click the thumbs up. Even if you don't like it, just click the thumbs up for me. I appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I see you guys viewing. We had like 20 views on that last episode. Yeah, you guys are liking our content, but subscribe and click like. And then if you really like it, comment down below. Julie Chen, I'm still waiting for him. Oh, maybe because I don't say your whole name. Julie Chen Muves. I'm still waiting for that comment from you. So let me know. Comment below. Let me know it's you, even if it's your burner account. Just let me know. And then
I'd even take an emoji. If you're shy.
Yeah. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, give me a thumbs up. Give me a laughing emoji. Take emoji. Yeah.
What's your favorite emoji?
My favorite emoji, it's the laughing that's tilted. I do that one all the time. That one and the skull, because it's everything. Most of my emojis are just in response to memes, and so it's like laugh, and then skull. They just say I'm laughing and I'm dead. So that's my favorite. What's yours? What's your favorite emoji?
My favorite is probably one of the laughing emojis, but I probably do this one the most.
Oh, the rolling eyes.
I probably use that one the most.
All right. Hey, Slop Talk fan, go and comment below. Give us your favorite emoji down below if you made it this far. We appreciate you coming out. We'll see you after Sunday's episode. Have a good one.
Bye.